Hello viewers and welcome to first PUC accountancy class. In the last class we were discussing about the important accounting concepts. In today's class we will continue with the remaining accounting concepts and we will try to analyze these accounting concepts in detail. In the previous class we have already studied about 6 important accounting concepts. We will continue with the remaining concepts. Next concept is revenue recognition concept. Revenue means the source of income which is generated by the business organization, maybe by producing goods and selling it in the market or by providing services. How these revenues or incomes have to be recorded in the books, or on what basis it has to be recorded in the books of accounts, that is specified by this particular concept which is called as revenue recognition. Or the question arises, when an income or revenue has to be recognized in the books of accounts or in the financial statements. The revenue recognition concept clearly states that in the books of accounts related to the particular accounting year, a revenue has to be recorded only when it is realized and not when it is received. Now, realized means when the legal right to receive such income arises, only then you have to record them in the books of accounts and not when you actually receive it in the form of cash. ರೆವೆನ್ಯೂ ರೆಕಗ್ನಿಷನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಒಂದು ರೆವೆನ್ಯೂವನ್ನು ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ಕಮನ್ನು ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, ಆ ರೆವೆನ್ಯೂವನ್ನು ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಲೀಗಲ್ ರೈಟ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಅರೈಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಆ ಲೀಗಲ್ ರೈಟ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೋ ಆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನೀವು ಯಾವಾಗ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಪಡಿತೀರೋ ಆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಪಡಿಬೋದು. ಈ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಯರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಪಡಿಬೋದು, ಮುಂದಿನ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಯರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಪಡಿಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಈ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಯರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಪಡೆದಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಅದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ರ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ರೆವೆನ್ಯೂವನ್ನು ಯಾವಾಗ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಆ ಲೀಗಲ್ ರೈಟ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೋ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಲೀಗಲಿ ಆ ರೈಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೋ ಆ ಇನ್ಕಮನ್ನು ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅದನ್ನು ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಎನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್. ದ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಯರ್ ಈಸ್ 2020-21. Present accounting year is 2020-21. The next accounting year is 2021-22. This is the present accounting year and this is the next accounting year or the coming accounting year. Now you have received some income. You have received any income. Maybe you have received rent. You have a factory, you have given it on a rental basis and you have received rent. And that rent of rupees 6,000 belongs to next accounting year. It belongs to 2021-22. But you are received in the month of December of 2020. That means you are received it in the year of 2020-21 accounting year. Actually, it belongs to 2021-22 accounting year. Now, the revenue recognition concept clearly states that this particular revenue has to be recorded in the books of accounts in the year in which you have the legal right to receive. You can record this as income in the accounting books for the accounting year in the year 2021-22, not in 2020-21, because you have received it. You have received it in the year 2020-21, but the legal right or it is realized in the year 2021-22. So this is the revenue recognition concept. So it clearly states, in an accounting year, in the books of the business organization, only those incomes or revenues have to be recorded which belongs to that particular accounting year. And if the revenue belongs to the previous accounting year or to the next accounting year, it should not be recorded in the current accounting year. It must be always recorded in the year which it has the legal right to receive. You may receive the cash, or you may receive the income in this accounting year or the previous year or the next year. That doesn't matter. When the legal right has arisen, when you got that power or right to receive that income, on that particular year, on that particular date, it has to be recorded in the books of accounts. That is the reason why all the outstanding and prepaid or pre-received transactions are being adjusted in the books of accounts. Whenever you present or prepare the financial statements, you must provide the information which is related only to that accounting year. You should not involve any information which is of the previous year or of the next accounting year. Then you are giving a false information. You are communicating wrong information to your interested users. In order to avoid that, we are recording the transaction on the basis of revenue recognition concept. Record the revenue in the year which you have the legal right to receive it, or the revenue has been realized and not actually received in the form of cash. Next concept is matching concept. Matching concept. Now, what is matching concept? Or the question arises, what has to be matched in a business organization? The matching concept states that the revenues or incomes which are earned by the business in a particular accounting year has to be matched with the expenses incurred to earn the same amount of revenue. ಮ್ಯಾಚಿಂಗ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿಗಳು ಆಗಿವೆಯೋ ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ಗಳು ಬಂದಿದೆಯೋ ಆ ಇನ್ಕಮನ್ನು, ಆ ರೆವೆನ್ಯೂವನ್ನು ಅದೇ ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಇನ್ಕಮನ್ನು ಜನ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಆ ಇನ್ಕಮನ್ನು ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೋ ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್ಗಳು ನಮಗೆ ಇನ್ಕರ್ ಆಗಿವೆಯೋ ಆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್ಗಳ ಜೊತೆ ನಾವು ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅದರ ಜೊತೆ ನಾವು ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನಿಮಗೊಂದು ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಯಾಕೆ ಆ ಇನ್ಕಮನ್ನು ಆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್ಗಳ ಜೊತೆ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಇದರ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಏನು? ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಇಷ್ಟೇ, ನೀವು ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿಗಳನ್ನು ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಜನ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಮೇ ಬಿ ನೀವು ಗೂಡ್ಸನ್ನು ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ನೀವು ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಈ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡುವ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಖರ್ಚುಗಳು ನಿಮಗೆ ತಗುಲಿವೆ, ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಖರ್ಚುಗಳನ್ನು ನೀವು ಇನ್ಕರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಆ ಖರ್ಚುಗಳನ್ನು ಇದರ ಜೊತೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ನಂತರ ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ಗಳು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆಯೋ ಅಥವಾ ಈ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಪಡೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನೀವು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಖರ್ಚಿನ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರೋ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ಗಳು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಉಂಟು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಉಂಟು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಆದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಅದು ಲಾಭ. ಅದೇ ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಖರ್ಚುಗಳು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಉಂಟು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ಗಳು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಉಂಟು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಆದರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅದು ಲಾಸ್, ಅದು ನಷ್ಟ. ಆ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಲಾಭ ಗಳಿಸಿದೆಯೋ ಅಥವಾ ಅದು ನಷ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದೆಯೋ ಅಂತ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾವು ಈ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್ಗಳ ಜೊತೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾಚಿಂಗ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಚಿಂಗ್ or comparing the incomes which are generated in a particular accounting year with the expenses which are incurred to earn the same amount of revenues. Why this has to be compared? The reason is simple: to find out whether you have earned the profit or the amount of loss. Now, how this comparison is done? You will prepare a statement which is called as profit and loss account. In the profit and loss account, on the debit side, you will record all the expenses which are incurred in the particular accounting year. In the given time period, what are the expenses you are incurred? On the other hand, on the credit side of the profit and loss account, you will record all the incomes, all the revenues. After recording expenses on the debit side and incomes on the credit side, you will compare the incomes with the expenses. While you are comparing, if your incomes are more and your expenses are less, then the resulting amount is a profit. On the other hand, when you are comparing, if your expenses incurred are more in an accounting year, but the revenues which are earned is less, the resulting amount is loss. So, in order to find out the exact amount of profit or loss at a given point of time, you have to compare the incomes with the expenses. Again, when you are comparing, you must take into account only those revenues and expenses which are related to that particular accounting year. Maybe the incomes are said to be related to the particular accounting year when they are realized in that particular accounting year, when you have the legal right to receive such incomes in that particular accounting year, not when it is actually received. The same way, an expense is said to be related to that particular accounting year when you have the obligation to make payment of such expenses in that particular accounting year, or when an asset or resource has been used in order to generate the same amount of income in a given point of time or in a accounting year. If any expense or any income is related to the previous or the next accounting years, then related adjustments are done in the present accounting year, and you will reflect or you will record only those items, only those transactions which are a part of the present accounting year. The transactions or events which are of the previous or the next accounting year is not taken into account in the present financial statements. You are presenting only the informations relating to that particular accounting year, so that you are communicating the true performance of your business, what is the actual performance and the financial position in a accounting year. Next concept is full disclosure concept. Complete disclosure of information, completely communicating all the informations related to your business. You are not hiding any information. Now, full disclosure concept states that all the material informations related to the business organization in a particular accounting year has to be communicated. You cannot hide any information. Now, the information which is provided in the financial statements is used by different stakeholders or different parties for making decision. The last step in the accounting process is communicating of information. How the information is communicated? The information is communicated by preparing the financial statements, profit and loss account and balance sheet. When you are communicating such information, you must communicate all the informations related to your business, so that by looking at these statements, the stakeholders, maybe investors, government, tax authorities or suppliers of goods, consumers or customers, society in general or any other persons are in a position to take the correct decisions. The decisions of all these parties depend on the information that you have provided. Therefore, you need to be accurate, you need to be correct when you are providing such information. So, full disclosure, complete disclosure has to be done. Whatever information you feel as significant has to be disclosed. That has to be communicated to the interested users. In an year, what are the amount of expenses that you incurred? What are your real incomes? What are the total amount of assets, total of liabilities? That has to be disclosed. In order to favor one particular party, in order to favor one particular stakeholder, you cannot manipulate your accounts. You cannot involve any kind of malpractices at the time of preparing the financial statements. You cannot hide any information. You cannot show less expenses in order to show more amount of profits to satisfy your investors. That cannot be done. Or you cannot show less amount of liabilities, or you cannot show less amount of profits. All this cannot be done. You cannot favor one particular stakeholder or one particular party. All the informations as it is related to your business has to be disclosed. This is based on the concept called as full disclosure, or we call it as the complete disclosure or complete communication of information. Next concept is consistency concept. Consistency means uniformity, stability in the process of preparing the financial statements. Every accounting year it is mandatory for the business to prepare the financial statements and to present the same to the interested users. Now, interested users will evaluate this and they will take the future decisions. Before taking decisions, they will make comparisons. Comparison of the performance of the business organization over the years, or comparison of the performance of your business with the performance of some other business in the industry. Now, how they can make comparison? If they have to compare such information, if they have to compare the financial statements, there should be the same base or the equal basis for comparison. Now, imagine you are a person who is a fan of Sachin Tendulkar. You are interested in cricket, you also have started playing cricket. Maybe you are representing your college, or maybe your university, or maybe your local club, and Sachin has already represented the Indian cricket team at the international level. Now, you cannot compare your performance with the performance of Sachin Tendulkar. Base is not the same. The level of comparison is not same. In the same way, you cannot compare the IQ level of a student who is studying in 10th standard with the IQ level of a student who is doing MBA or any other post-graduation studies. The level or the base used to compare is not the same. You cannot make comparison. Even if you make comparison, you cannot draw the good results. If you want to make easy comparison and draw good end results, you should have a common base. In the same way, when you are comparing the financial statements or the performance of business organization, maybe over the years or with other business organization, the base should be same or equal. The policies used, the methods adopted by the business organization should be same, only then you make comparisons. In the same way, in business organization also, you can compare the performance over the years or with other business organizations in the industry when the policies used or the methods adopted by the business are uniform or same over the years. If there are different policies used in 2 different years, comparison becomes difficult, or the results drawn because of these comparisons cannot be the good results. If you want to draw good results, there should be uniform and consistent policies or methods that have been adopted by the business. To give an example, at the time of charging depreciation. Now, depreciation is nothing but the reduction in the value of a fixed asset, maybe machinery, furniture or computers, motor vehicles, any assets except land. All the fixed assets value will depreciate, or it will reduce or decline in the market. When the value decreases, it has to be recorded as an expense in the books of accounts. In the profit and loss account, under the expense side, we will write it as to depreciation expenses. Now, there are different methods of charging depreciation. Prominently, 2 methods are used by every business. One is the straight line method, one more is written down value method. Imagine one business organization is using written down value method and one more business is using straight line method. 2 different policies for treating one particular transaction. Transaction here is the depreciation. Policies adopted are 2 different policies. Now, you are comparing the performance of these 2 business organizations. You cannot draw good results because the policies adopted are not same. In the same way, there are a lot of other transactions which have different policies, different methods of recording them. You must follow the same policy, same method over the years to record these transactions. Then easily comparison can be done. If you make any changes without any valid reason, then comparison becomes difficult. Next is conservatism concept. Conservatism concept, which is also called as prudence concept. Now, conservatism means the game of playing safe or taking some precautions or being cautious in your dealings. As per the conservatism concept, it clearly states, if you anticipate any future losses or expenses which may arise in the near future, record them in the books of accounts. At the same time, if you anticipate any future profit or gain, don't record them in the books of accounts. As per the revenue recognition concept, it has to be recorded only when you have the legal right to receive such income. Therefore, in the conservatism concept, we are playing a safe game. If we anticipate, if we make a prediction that in the near future the amount of losses may arise in the business, or the business may face some kind of expenses or risk in the near future, you are playing a safe game by preparing for such losses or expenses. Maybe some part of the profit is kept aside, some provisions are being created, all these adjustments are done. That is allowed, that is fine. But at the same time, if you anticipate that in the near future, maybe after 2 months or maybe after 6 months or maybe after 1 year, you are going to earn some amount of income or revenues. This is only your prediction, then do not enter them until you have the legal right to receive such income. Please do not record them in the books of accounts. I will give you an example. In the near future, a business has estimated that it may end up meeting a particular expense, maybe 10,000 rupees or 50,000 rupees. This is an anticipated expense. In the profit and loss account, you will write the anticipated expense amount, or you will show it as an expense in the account. Presently, I am working in India. My income is maybe imagine 50,000 rupees. I am working, I am earning 50,000 rupees per month. Now I have a desire to go to a abroad country. I make a prediction that if at all I go to a foreign country, I can earn 1 lakh rupees. With same qualification, I can earn 1 lakh rupees per month. Now this is my anticipation. I cannot record this 1 lakh rupees as my income right now because the legal right has not arisen. There may be any other situations. The present situation is the best example. You have incurred so many expenses, so many losses because of the COVID-19 outbreak. You must be in a position to meet all these expenses, all these losses, provide for such losses, create a provision. But if you anticipate any future profit, please do not record them. Until I go to an abroad country, I start working there and I receive my first salary, I cannot say that as my income. Only when I receive my first salary, I can say that 1 lakh rupees is my income. The same way in business also, when you anticipate losses, record them. When you anticipate profits, do not record them. Materiality concept. Material means the information. Here the material is not the raw material. Material is the information. The significance of information. The importance of a particular information in the business. The materiality concept says that if at all an accountant feels that an information is a significant information, an important information for an stakeholder in order to take any kind of decision, then you have to provide such information in your books of accounts. And if the information is insignificant, if it is immaterial, if it is not important for making any kind of decision, then you need not record such information in the books of accounts. Or in simple words, materiality concept says that record the significant information and ignore the insignificant or immaterial information. Materiality concept ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕೇವಲ ಸಿಗ್ನಿಫಿಕೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಅಂದರೆ ತುಂಬ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ವಿಷಯಗಳು ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನು ಯಾವೊಬ್ಬ ಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ತನ್ನ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಬೀರ್ತದೋ ಅಂಥ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಆ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸಿದರೆ, ಯಾವುದೇ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ನ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಆದರೆ ಅಂಥ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ನ ನಾವು ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತಿಲ್ಲ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಒಂದು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟೇಷನರೀಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಪೆನ್, ಪೆನ್ಸಿಲ್, ಇರೇಸರ್ಸ್, ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟರ್ ಮುಂತಾದ ಸ್ಟೇಷನರೀಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಆಫೀಸ್ ವರ್ಕಿಗಾಗಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಅಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ಗಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಇಂಥ ಸ್ಟೇಷನರೀಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಈ ಒಟ್ಟು ಸ್ಟೇಷನರೀಸ್ಗಳ ಬೆಲೆ ಅಥವಾ ಖರ್ಚು ಮೇ ಬಿ ಒಂದು 500 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಎಲ್ಲ ಪೆನ್, ಪೆನ್ಸಿಲ್, ಇರೇಸರ್ಸ್, ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟರ್ ಇವೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಸೇರಿಸಿ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಖರ್ಚು 500 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಈಗ ಈ 500 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಬೆಲೆ ಬಾಳುವಂಥ ಸ್ಟೇಷನರೀಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ, ಈ ಸ್ಟೇಷನರೀಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟಲ್ಲಿ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬದಲಾಗಿ ಈ ಒಟ್ಟು ಮೊತ್ತವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಖರ್ಚು ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೇವೆ. ಒಂದು ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಯರಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೇಷನರೀಸ್ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಖರ್ಚು 500 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೇವೆ. ಇದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಸ್ಟೇಷನರೀಸ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ರೋ ಅಥವಾ 5-10 ಪೆನ್ಸಿಲು, ಪೆನ್ನುಗಳು ನಮಗೆ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವುದೆಲ್ಲ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್? ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಗೂಡ್ಸನ್ನು ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಅದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ನೀವೊಂದು ಮೆಷಿನರಿಯನ್ನು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಆ ಮೆಷಿನರಿಯನ್ನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಯು ಆರ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ಡ್ ಅ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ ಸಿಗ್ನಿಫಿಕೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್. You are paying rent, you are paying salaries, you are paying wages, all these expenses are important. Significant information. Provide this significant information. If you feel that any information is not significant, which is not important, you can ignore them, because these will not have any influence on the decisions of the different stakeholders. ಯಾವುದೇ ಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ನ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಂತಹ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲದ ವಿಷಯಗಳು ಯಾವುದೇ ಪ್ರಭಾವ ಬೀರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನೀವು ಇಂಥ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ಗಳನ್ನು ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಅಕೌಂಟೆಂಟಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ತುಂಬ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸಿದರೆ, ಆ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ನಿಂದಾಗಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮೇಕರ್ನ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಬೀರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಆದರೆ ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಅಂಥ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನನ್ನು ನಾವು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಂಥ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲವಾದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅಂಥ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನನ್ನು ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್. Objectivity concept says that in the books of accounts, the transactions have to be recorded in an objective manner. Now, objective manner means there must be an evidence or proof or document supporting each and every transaction. Objectivity concept ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಯಾವುದೇ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆದರೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತಹ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಒಂದು ದಾಖಲೆ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೂಫ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಇಂತಹ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಈ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಡೇಟ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟದ್ದು, ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಗಳು ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯೋ ಇಲ್ಲೋ, ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆ ಒಂದು ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟದ್ದು ಹೌದೋ ಅಲ್ಲವೋ ಅನ್ನುವ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಖಚಿತಪಡಿಸುವುದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಇಂತಹ ದಾಖಲೆಗಳನ್ನು ಒದಗಿಸಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಯರ್ ಮುಗಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆದ ನಂತರ ಅದೇ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಅಥಾರಿಟಿ ಅಥವಾ ಆಡಿಟರ್ ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯುಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ದಾಖಲೆಗಳು ಸರಿಯಾಗಿವೆ, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ಗಳು ಇದೇ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟದ್ದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ರುಜು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅದನ್ನು ಖಾತ್ರಿಪಡಿಸಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಆ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಈ ದಾಖಲೆಗಳನ್ನು ಒದಗಿಸಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಈ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ನಡೆಯಿತು, ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಗಳು ಈ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗಿವೆ, ಈ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ನ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟು, ಯಾವ ಡೇಟ್, ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ ದ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್, whenever you enter into any transaction, make sure that there is an evidence, there is a proof or document supporting that particular transaction, and objectivity is maintained. You are recording it in a legal way. There is no illegal activities involved in the business. Now, what are these documents or evidences? You go to a shop, you purchase any material, you purchase any goods, you pay cash, you will get an receipt which is called as cash receipt. If the same goods is purchased on credit basis, you will get an invoice, credit invoice. Or when you make payment, you will get a bill which contains the details of the transaction. So all these evidences act as a proof for a particular transaction, or it supports a particular transaction, and it certifies that the transaction is related to the business organization, and all the details will be clearly mentioned in the document. At the end of the accounting year, after preparing the financial statement, it has to be cross-checked. it has to be verified or examined by a competent authority or maybe by the auditors, saying that all the transactions are true and correct and the necessary documents have been produced. Only then you can then communicate it to your accounting users. Therefore, at the time of cross-checking your statements, there should be an evidence supporting every transaction, and the transaction should be free from bias or errors. You should not be favoring one particular stakeholder or one particular party. There should not be any kind of errors. As it is, the information has to be communicated, and the true and the correct financial position as well as performance has to be reflected in the books of accounts. And this is based on the objectivity concept. So these are some important accounting concepts based on which an accountant will record the transactions and prepares the financial statement. Or in simple words, I can say that accounting concepts are the broad guidelines, the assumptions which will help an accountant in the process of recording the transactions and communicating the accounting information. Thank you so much.